y'all, welcome back to Homemade Simple. If we've not met before, I'm Lori. I'm really glad that you're here today. I don't think that I'm the only one who seems to be always busy. Even though I try to reduce my schedule and live a simplified life, it seems like supper time comes a lot quicker than I expect every single day, and I really just need some good, wholesome, family-friendly recipes to get on the table in just a few minutes. That's what we're going to talk about this week. Some really fast, easy, and delicious recipes that you can get on the table for your family in 20 minutes or less. They are all family-friendly and frugal, so they're friendly to your budget as well. Let's go get started in the kitchen making 5 of these delicious, quick and easy recipes that you can get on the table in 20 minutes or less. We're going to start with a vegetarian recipe. So many of you have asked for a vegetarian meal plan, and that's in the works. I'm not a vegetarian, so that's not really my wheelhouse, but I'm trying to create some good meat-free meals for y'all. But this is one that I sort of just came up with the things that I had in my pantry and refrigerator. I needed supper quick, and I just sort of found some ingredients that I thought might go well together and started from there. So I had some tortillas in the freezer. I let them thaw and laid them out on a 9x13 baking dish. And then I opened up a can of refried beans. I heated them up a bit and gave them a good stir so that they would be a little more spreadable. And then I made some homemade enchilada sauce. You can completely make this with store-bought enchilada sauce and save yourself some time. But enchilada sauce at home is, number 1, incredibly easy to make, and number 2, is super delicious and tastes much better than anything that you can find in the store, in my humble opinion. I'll leave the recipe down in the description box. Just allow yourself maybe 10 extra minutes to prepare if you're making it while you're making the casserole. So I'm just going to spread that enchilada sauce on top of the refried beans. I have made some rice in the microwave. I'm going to spread the rice on top of the enchilada sauce, and then I'm going to add 1 can of Rotel tomatoes. I'm going to add 1 bag of frozen corn, and then I'm going to top that with the remainder of the enchilada sauce. I had some mozzarella cheese in the refrigerator. If you want to use cheddar cheese, that would work just fine on this recipe. I have my oven preheated to 350 degrees. Make it in there for about 25 minutes. If you want it to brown on the top really nice, you can broil it for about 4 or 5 minutes. I think this is a really good family-friendly option that also is super easy on the budget. Next up, we have a chicken recipe that is super good, and this is the one that my kids were raving about. Actually, everybody continued to talk about this recipe over and over, like throughout the week. I shredded up some of the chicken that I had cooked at the beginning of the week, and I'm just going to put 2 or 3 cups in the bottom of this baking dish. I'm going to add 3/4 cup of prepared mayonnaise. You can also use Greek yogurt, 1 cup of shredded Parmesan cheese, and also I'm going to add a 1/2 teaspoon of paprika, 1 teaspoon of chili powder, 1 teaspoon of black pepper, and a teaspoon of salt. I'm going to mix all of that together, and then I'm going to spread that on top of the chicken. For the next part of the recipe, I'm just going to crush up 1 sleeve of saltine crackers, add 1/2 stick of melted butter, and mix all of this together, and then top the casserole with this cracker crumb mixture. I'm going to bake this in a 350 degree oven for about 20 to 25 minutes. While it's baking, I'm going to boil some water and cook up some spaghetti noodles. And also, I found some carrots in the freezer that I had grown earlier in the year, so those need to go ahead and be eaten. I'm going to cook those up and have that as a side item. My daughter said, "Mama, this is really bussin'." If you have teenagers, you know what that means. If you do not, then I will just go ahead and inform you that bussin' is about the best compliment a teenager can give you about anything that you make. So make sure that you give this recipe a try. Your family is going to thank you. Okay, next up, I'm going to share a buffalo chicken recipe that is super yummy. This is a casserole that I also started with rice as the base. I found some brown rice in the pantry, cooked that up in the microwave according to the package directions. I'm just going to spread that on the bottom of this 9x13 casserole dish. And then I'm going to open up a can of Rotel tomatoes. Just spread that around on top of the rice, and then I took about 3 cups of chicken, added half a cup or so of hot sauce, and 1 block of cream cheese. Gonna mix all of this together, and then I'm going to spread it on top of the rice and Rotel. I'm gonna top this with plenty of cheddar cheese and then bake it in a 350-degree oven for about 20 minutes or so. I paired this with some easy to make green beans and a couple of tortilla chips, and it was super yummy. Our last 2 recipes for today are going to use barbecue chicken that I'm going to make in the crock pot. Now, I'm going to use chicken thighs just because it was the least expensive option. You can use any kind of chicken. I would highly recommend using boneless chicken for this recipe. It just is a lot easier to work with. I'm going to pour all of the chicken into the crock pot and cover it with probably 2 cups of barbecue sauce. I talked about this barbecue sauce in a previous Sam's video. I'll link that here. After it's cooked on high for about 5 or 6 hours on low, all day is fine. I'm going to try to give it a good shred. I tried using these shredder tongs. It wasn't working with the chicken thighs, so I ended up using 2 forks instead. That worked out better. But to build our first barbecue chicken meal, which is barbecue chicken nachos, I'm going to start with some tortilla chips and then add barbecue chicken on top. I'm going to add a little bit of cheese so that it can melt, and then add some lettuce, some tomatoes, some sour cream, and my very favorite ingredient, some cilantro. I'm going to top it with some extra barbecue sauce, and if you have never had barbecue chicken nachos, let this be your invitation to a delicious dinner. The next day, I made some baked potatoes, and I cooked mine in the microwave. If you can't tell, I've been using my microwave a lot this week. My potatoes were a little small, so I went ahead and got 2 potatoes for each family member. And then I'm going to top it with some butter and cheese, add some barbecue chicken, some tomatoes, a good helping of sour cream, some barbecue sauce on top, and then of course some of my favorite cilantro. This is one of the easiest recipes that you can possibly make, especially if you've already made the chicken ahead of time. I hope you will give it a try. I hope that you will give all of these recipes a try because they are all absolutely delicious. Well, all of these recipes turned out to be really good, and I even got compliments from everybody in the family except for Lane. He always says yuck to anything that I put on the table. But when I get compliments from my teenagers, that makes my mama heart smile. So I hope that you will give these recipes a try for your family as well. This week was a really exciting week for me, just personally, because I met 2 viewers at 2 different places on 2 different days this week while I was out and about with my family. I was so grateful that they came up and mentioned that they watched the channel. It makes me feel so good to know that I'm making a connection with you at home. Thank you to them for letting me know that they watch the channel. I'm promising that I'm trying to get better every single week, and I really appreciate all of the encouragement and support that I've received through messages and now even in person. Thank you so much for watching today's video. If you haven't subscribed, make sure that you do that. Click the bell icon so you can receive all of the notifications of all of the new updates coming from the channel. Thank you so much for being here today. I hope that you have a wonderful week. I love you, and I will see you again next time.